All right, today we're going to go over some notes, and it's also your classwork for Thursday, February 4th. Okay, so today we're going to be reviewing the base clause. We had a little bit of information and a little bit of practice last week, but then we had a weekend and 2 snow days, so let's review. What is a base clause? We're going to complete this together in class. I'll be using it to teach from right now. It becomes notes for you to use, and you will be asked to submit it for your classwork grade. So here we go. What is a base clause? A base clause is the main part of the sentence. Okay? Every sentence has one, at least one. In the 8th grade level here, I'm only going to give you sentences that have one. Okay? But it is the main part of the sentence. It's a complete thought. So we're going to practice finding one base clause. Because it is a complete thought, it has the subject, which is the who or what part of the sentence, and the predicate. Within the predicate is the verb, the did what or what about it part. It can stand all by itself. Sometimes the sentence is just a base clause, but there might be other pieces or chunks around it or within it that give us more information and more detail. We're going to use punctuation to help identify the base clause. We're always going to start with circling the punctuation. Okay, that's going to give you little like stop signs almost, traffic signs, to help you identify what you got to analyze. You're going to use the it could be true that test to make sure that you have a complete thought. Okay, because a base clause is a complete thought that could stand all by itself. All right, so here we go. We've got a sentence to practice here. Black and white with green oval eyes, Morris the kitten stalked the cricket behind the couch. All right, so after we read the sentence, the next thing that we do is circle the punctuation. So we're going to circle the comma after eyes, and then the period at the end. So how many pieces are there in this sentence? How many chunks do we have to look at? 1, 2, 3. All right, we've got 3 pieces to this sentence. So now we're going to use the it could be true that test to make sure we're finding the complete thought. All right, so starting right here at the beginning, it could be true that black and white. Is that a base clause? Is that complete? No, it is not. Next chunk, it could be true that with green oval eyes. Does that sound complete all by itself? No, it does not. Third piece, it could be true that Morris the kitten stalked the cricket behind the couch. Does that sound complete? Yes, it does. That sounds complete. Okay, so we're going to highlight it. That seems to be the base clause because it's the complete thought. It could stand all by itself without the description of what the cat looked like. And we're going to double check that we're sure by finding the subject and the verb. So, who or what is this sentence all about? Well, it seems to be all about Morris. So what is the subject? The subject is Morris, and we'll put a little S there to show we have a subject. What is the did what or what about it part? What about Morris? Morris the kitten stalked the cricket behind the couch. So what is the verb, the action word within there? What did that kitten actually do? It stalked. Okay, so if we cut right down to just the base clause, it's about Morris and the stalking. Morris the kitten stalked the cricket behind the couch. All right, so we have identified the base clause. We have a complete thought. It has the subject. It has the verb. All right, let's move on to number 2. Okay, this sentence is about Timmy. Timmy was 6, active, curious about everything, even the pattern on the bottom of his sneakers. So we're going to circle the punctuation first. So we have a comma after 6, a comma after active, a comma after everything, and a period at the end. So how many pieces or chunks are there to the sentence to think about? 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Okay? Now one of those has to be the base clause because every sentence has a base clause. So give it the it could be true that test. It could be true that Timmy was 6. Does that sound complete? It does. It sounds like it could be the base clause. Let's check all of the pieces. Try this one. It could be true that active. And that doesn't sound complete. That could not be a base clause. It could be true that curious about everything. Well, that does not sound complete. That could not be the base clause. All right, how about it could be true that even the pattern on the bottom of his sneakers. Is that a base clause? No, that does not sound complete. So we have double checked ourselves. It seems as if our base clause here is it could be true that Timmy was 6. It passes the it could be true that test. It passes the complete thought test. If it is the base clause, it has the subject and it has the verb. So who or what is this sentence all about? Well, it's all about Timmy. So what is the subject, the who or what part? Timmy. Yep, we have a subject within the base clause. Okay, and the part that we can't see here because it got copied on the next page is the did what or what about it part. What about Timmy? What's the verb? Timmy was 6. We have a state of being verb, a verb that does not show action. Is, are, was, were, have, has, had, be, being, been, will, won't, may, might, could, would, should, can, can't. All of those are verbs that do not show action. Okay, so we have identified the base clause of this sentence. We have a subject and a verb within it. All the rest of it just tell us more about that base clause. Okay. Let's take a look at number 3. Snowy and cold, February blew in on a storm. All right, so we're going to circle the punctuation. There are just 2 pieces to this sentence. Give it the it could be true that test. It could be true that snowy and cold. No, that does not sound complete. It could be true that February blew in on a storm. Yes, that sounds complete. It passes the it could be true that test. Okay? So, who or what is this sentence all about? What did something? Well, February did. The subject is February. Okay, what is the did what or what about it? What did February do? It blew in on the storm. We have the action verb blew. So we have identified the base clause of this sentence. Snowy and cold is just telling us more about the way February came in. Okay, so the next 2 are a little bit more complicated. I'm going to make a second video. All right, so I'm going to pause for now and come right back for number 4 and 5.